On June, on June 18, 1812, America declared war on Great Britain after a series of trade disagreements. In August 1814, British troops invaded Washington, D.C., and burned the White House, Capitol Building, and Library of Congress. Their next target was Baltimore.
After one of Key's friends, Dr. William Beans, was taken prisoner by the British, Key went to Baltimore, located the ship where Beans was being held, and negotiated his release. However, Key and Beans weren't allowed to leave until after the British bombardment of Fort McHenry. Key watched the bombing campaign unfold from aboard a ship about 8 miles away. After a day, the British were unable to destroy the fort and gave up. Key was relieved to see the American flag still flying over Fort McHenry and quickly penned a few lines in tribute to what he had witnessed.
The poem was printed in newspapers and eventually set to music of a popular English drinking tune called To Atone in Heaven by composer John Stanford Smith. People began referring to the song as the Star-Spangled Banner, and in 1916, President Woodrow Wilson announced that it should be played at all official events. It was adopted as the national anthem on March 3, 1931.
On September 14, 1814, Francis Scott Key pens a poem which is later set to music and in 1931 becomes America's national anthem, The Star-Spangled Banner. The poem, originally titled The Defense of Fort McHenry, was written after Key witnessed the Maryland fort being bombarded by the British during the War of 1812. Key was inspired by the sight of a lone U.S. flag still flying over Fort McHenry at daybreak, as reflected in the now famous words of the Star-Spangled Banner. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
As we honor our great nation, please stand for the national anthem and the saying of our Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
World War I, known at the time as the Great War, officially ended when the Treaty of Versailles was signed on June 28, 1919, in the Palace of Versailles, outside the town of Versailles, France. However, fighting ceased 7 months earlier when an armistice or temporary cessation of hostiles between the Allied nations of Germany went into effect on the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. For that reason, November 11th, 1918, is generally regarded as the end of the world to end all wars.
In November 1919, President Wilson proclaimed November 11th as the first commemoration of Armistice Day with the following words: "To us in America, the reflections of Armistice Day will be filled with solemn pride in the heroism of those who died in the country's service and with gratitude for the victory, both because of who died in the country's service with gratitude for the victory, both because of the thing from which it was freed us, and because of the opportunity it has given America to show her sympathy with peace and justice in the councils of nations."
When Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner almost 200 years ago, he called America the land of the free and the home of the brave. Those words are as true today as they were then.
Throughout this nation's history, America's soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, and Coast Guardsmen have bravely answered the call to defend our freedom, to aid our friends and allies, and to turn back aggressors.
We can never fully repay our debt of gratitude to more than 650,000 American service members who died in the battle or the 1.4 million who were wounded. We can, however, recognize and thank the 25 million veterans still living today.
These words are inscribed on the Korean War Memorial in Washington, D.C. Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered the call to defend a country they never knew and a people they never met.
Those words apply equally to many of our World War I, World War II, Vietnam War, and Gulf War veterans as well. They apply to today's active duty service members, tomorrow's veterans, who are helping to maintain peace throughout the world.
Today, it is our privilege to say thank you to all of the American veterans, to let them know that we appreciate them for their service and honor them for their sacrifices.
The price of freedom is high. We cannot afford to forget those willing to pay it. Today, we celebrate America's veterans for keeping this nation the land of the free and the home of the brave.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
The Armed Forces Medley is a collection of the service songs that each military branch uses to support and celebrate their servicemen and women and veterans. If you or a loved one have served in the military, please stand when your service branch is played. The order is Army, Navy, Air Force, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Air Force, and then Marines.
He was a famous trumpet man from out Chicago way. He had a boogie style that no one else could play. He was the top man of his craft. But then his number came up and he was gone with that draft. He's in the army now, a blowing reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. They made him blow a bugle for his Uncle Sam. It really brought him down because he couldn't jam. The captain seemed to understand, because the next day the cap went out and drafted a band. And now the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A toot, a toot, a toot-a-yard, a toot, he blows it 8 to the bar. In boogie rhythm, he can't blow a note unless the bass and guitar is playing with him. He makes the company jump when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He is so boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. And when he plays boogie woogie bugle, he is busy as a buzzy bee. And when he plays, he makes the company jump and 8 to the bar. He is the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. Da 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 da, toot toot. He blows it 8 to the bar. He can't play a note unless the bass and guitar is playing with him. He makes the company jump when he plays reveille. He's a boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. He puts the boys to sleep with boogie every night and wakes them up the same way in the early bright. They clap their hands and stamp their feet because they know how he plays. When someone gives him a beat, he really breaks it up. When he plays reveille, he's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B. A toot, a toot, a toot-a-yard, a toot, he blows it 8 to the bar. In boogie rhythm, he can't blow a note unless the bass and guitar is playing with him. And the company jumps when he plays reveille. He's the boogie woogie bugle boy of Company B.
To those who paid the ultimate price for our freedoms, Zoe Barker will now play the bugle called Taps. Taps is the traditional song used for military funerals. Please stand while Taps is played and let us reflect in a moment of silence to honor our heroes that have fallen.
To those who pay the ultimate price for our freedom.
The assembly is now over. Thank you for coming out and appreciating our veterans. We really appreciate you listening to our music and listening to the readings. Hopefully you can reflect on today's, why we celebrate today and why we celebrate our veterans. Have a good rest of your day.